Susan and Joel have such large hearts. They value family, education, Judaism, community, and they don't just say they do, they work for these causes. They contribute to their synagogues, to BJE, to youth movements.
They are warm and kind and loving and smart and act as role models and actually teachers.
Well, my parents are very kind, they're generous, they're smart, they're people that just will do anything for anyone, no matter the cause.
Susan and Joel are role models of what a couple should be. Theirs is an incredible partnership. They support each other's passions and goals. They both work hard in the community and in their jobs and in everything that they do to make the world a better place.
Susan and Joel make a beautiful, wonderful couple, and the Los Angeles Jewish community is truly blessed to have them in their midst.
These are people who study, who teach, who do, who care about not only communities of people, but each individual. Their impact is extraordinary.
Joel's an amazing husband, he's an amazing father, he is so much fun to be with.
Joel is reflective.
He's an educator.
He's creative.
Caring.
He knows so much about so many things.
And very spiritual in his being.
He's just wonderful to work with, to be with.
He's a true inspiration and leader to the community.
The fact that he does origami so beautifully, which is both delicate and poised and balanced and artistic, is in some ways the external expression of who he is.
He's also lots of fun.
I would describe Susan as this very gifted and giving person for whom everyone and everything is really important.
Susan's a very dynamic person. So from the time she was very little, she exhibited individuality. She was her own person, and that really is the way she is today.
Susan is just a dynamo.
Really just so dynamic and outgoing.
Dynamic.
Brilliant.
Dedicated.
Caring.
Directed.
And enthusiastic.
Susan is energetic.
She's a really energetic person.
A ball of energy.
Susan's mind is always going.
I never see her sleep. I never see her eat.
She's so smart.
She generates ideas, plans, projects.
She's really a completely selfless person.
Compassionate beyond anybody's wildest understanding.
And I just admire her and love her to death.
For many people, Jewish education is an addition to who they are. That is, they have a certain career, they have a certain family, and they wish to be educated on top of it. But for the Stearns, Jewish education actually is the expression of who they are.
I'm passionate about Jewish education because I think our tradition is so wonderful and so enriching and so worthy of passing on. Our children should be educated so they can go out in the world and do acts of tikkun olam. And I think Jewish values and tradition are a wonderful way of transmitting these values to our children.
They realize that without Torah education, there is no Jewish future. And you've got to raise up the kids to create the homes, to pass down the traditions.
My involvement with BJE nurtures my passion for Jewish education because I'm able to sit around the table with Orthodox, conservative, Reformed Jews from across the community and talk about how can we enhance Jewish education, how can we make it more accessible, how can we make it more affordable, how can we improve the quality and bring new people into the Jewish educational system.
BJE is a central Jewish educational organization which has a threefold mission. It works to engage more learners in Jewish education. It works to see to it that in every setting in which Jewish education takes place, it is all that it can be. It's offered at the highest level. And it works to see to it that Jewish educational opportunity is available to those who may not be able to afford it.
BJE has the amazing ability to provide expertise in lots of different areas that each school couldn't provide on its own.
BJE represents, in some ways, what is the fundamental hope of the Jewish community, and that is that in a modern, pluralistic, democratic country, we can still transmit the sum and substance of our tradition through teaching and learning as we have for thousands of years. In that sense, BJE is really the heart of what the Jewish enterprise is all about.
One benefit of having a strong BJE in our Los Angeles community is also it assures quality control. Through the accreditation program, it assures parents that when they send their child to a BJE affiliated school, that there's going to be some examination of whether or not the schools themselves are meeting the goals that the school sets for itself.
One of the programs that BJE is most proud of is March of the Living. The kids start out in Poland and they march from Auschwitz to Birkenau, and then they go to Israel and they spend a week in Israel and culminate in Yom HaAtzmaut.
March of the Living was probably one of the most formative experiences for my Jewish identity. I think it's so important for Jewish teenagers to continue to go and see it with their own eyes and bear witnesses, and also develop relationship with people who have survived the Holocaust, seeing it through their eyes and seeing it through my own. It just was definitely something that will stay with me forever.
My parents, they just love to teach people about being Jewish, and I think that that's really what the BJE does, is it teaches people not just about being Jewish, but about being a good person in general, and that's really what my parents do.
The BJE's mission is to provide a Jewish education to every student, no matter what denomination, no matter how they choose to express their Judaism, and I think that my parents really embody that approach.
BJE should honor people who can serve as examples for others to emulate. And so we want to say, look, be like Susan and Joel, as Jews, as human beings, as people dedicated to community. And if they're more like them, all of our problems would go away.